If there was a way for you to learn how many years you have left to live, would you want to know? I suspect more times than not the answer is no, you wouldn't. Because then you're going to spend all your time obsessing about the absolute end, possibly look for ways to prevent it, and so on and so forth, ultimately wasting the time you have, which of course is precious. Such is the case with Echosphere, which again, I will not detail what actually happens in it, and more or less the overall themes and moods evoked by the episode. Suffice to say, it involves death, and the time you have, and it's expressed largely between two characters, an old man and a young boy, and you get snippets of that. And Tales from the Loop grounds itself in experiences and feelings that everybody has through their life, even though it takes on this fantastic elements of it. And this time it's something very, very, very simple, really, but it opens up this whole notion of your limited time and all the different elements of that, the emotions you go through, the denial, of course, the anger, the sadness, and ultimately the acceptance of it thereof. Plus, the pondering of, is it really the end? And, of course, leaves it still open if you paid attention. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious at the ending. Gee, what does it mean? Well, it's just something that happened. But there's other elements here for the overall story that's presented here, that's connected within the characters you're meeting within this series, and a rather cold take on here that I'm hoping they revisit elsewhere to see what that's about, in the case of a father and son's relationship here. And other interesting aspects that nods back to the first episode. So this one, this is pretty damn good. This was a very well self-contained story, almost, with the elements that attach to the others. They all are, really. But on par of excellence, I would say this one pretty much matches, if not surpasses, the first episode. So, high points for that one. But it's the tough subject to handle that you're going to have to handle it one way or another. We all are, and not a lot you can do about it. And of course, it's ultimately very sad. That's the hard part of it. Sadness is the ultimate terrible thing. And like I keep repeating, even though this isn't the horror, but I said a lot of these different horror movies, I thought they cued in on this element of the sadness is the scariest thing, and here is the ultimate terrible pain of it. Even when you have some of these sci-fi and fantasy stories, where if there's something you really desperately want and you could get it, would you do it? And you say, well, yeah, I probably would, And in this universe here, there's all these wonders just literally laying around. There's still no real explanation. We know, the loop is this facility, but is it causing that? Or what is this stuff? And it's like, be careful what you pick up in the yard out there. Every episode is a cautionary tale. Leave well enough alone. But in this case, they kind of willingly walk into it. But anyway, with that kind of thing, different stories about if you could get your wish, and there's always a price in them, and it's like even the people who write out these fantasies of miracles and powers and whatnot, of achieving these impossible things that we wish we could have, like saving a loved one from dying or bringing them back or whatever. There would be always, there's some price to pay or something like that. It's like, even in the fantasy, just can't let it happen. Because because it's a lie. You know, it's not going to happen. You're going to end, short of divine intervention of God, if you believe such. But as far as the ongoing norms of life that we experience and know, there's no secret cure or trick here and there for quite a few things. So such is the case here, but not so much of the typical plot of there's a catch, and you learned the lesson, and you should have let well enough alone, or something like that. That has been the tale in the previous episodes, but here it's just a very touching and sad tale that anyone can recognize, certainly someone who's experienced loss. And that's the power of Echosphere for Tales from the Loop. And another element that it speaks very truthful to, and something I'm noticing as I age, is despite the fact that the older you get, you slow down, and yet time seems so very fast. It seems so trudgingly long when you're younger. But when you think back to, I was just doing that, but no, that was 20 years ago. Blink of an eye is very true. And ultimately, it does come to an end.
All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores and have plenty of goodies for you. Hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.